Hello. So it's been a while because I moved to New York City, except for now. Basically, I'll get into that at the end. But I'm at home now for the next few days. So I've had winners and losers. It looks like we have a peace deal. I kind of thought it would end up like this. First of all, I want to point out how funny it is that Trump is trying to solve this with tariffs because a fine through the Strait of Hormuz. What does that sound like to you? A fine to move goods or services through a region. That's a tariff, my friend. So Trump is doing international policy by enforcing tariffs on other countries now, which is hilarious. I'm not saying tariffs are always the answer according to Trump, but they might be. So the winners are actually I don't know if there's any winners. I think the winners is maybe long-term international geopolitical strategy for the U.S. Iran has been a thorn in our side for 50 years. That's true. It's probably good they don't have nukes. They, I think, are crazier than we've already thought they were. Biggest losers is Iran, the government that existed, because a lot of them are dead. Big winner is obviously Israel, one of their major geopolitical enemies. Probably their biggest geopolitical enemy is gone now, and along with the biggest threat to their actual existence as a country. You can say Israel is a winner from this without saying that Israel controls American foreign policy. Okay, you can say Israel benefited without saying all of that. I think a lot of influencers either gained or lost. I think some came across really well, some came across really badly. The ones who came across badly are the Groyper and Groyper adjacent people. If you spend 2 months basically saying that we're in a forever war like Iraq and you're wrong, it kind of destroys your credibility. I don't care how many right things you say. If you are that wrong and don't admit it, like if you thought we were going into forever war and then we're wrong, okay, fine. If you don't admit you're wrong now, you have egg in your face, and you shouldn't really be trusted that much. I think it's a really big win for the anime right. I'm gonna call it the anime right. The people like Nux Nor, Asmongold, Leaf that those base camp, there's a segment of the internet that probably represents me more than most. I think it's overall pretty much a win for them. I think they had fun. They obviously had fun for the past while. I don't think they lost anything. I think the biggest losers are Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, um, not Dave Smith actually. Dave Smith has actually been consistent, has been much more consistent. Dave Smith, I think, comes through this pretty well. I think Daily Wire comes through this pretty well. Um, People keep attacking Shapiro, and I've got his fault. I've got my faults with him, but he does not go down. He does not fall apart. The also big winners, Democrats, from this whole ban thing. I think it kind of they were kind of giving up on having a fight, and now they have some fight back in them. I think they win from this. Um, I don't think this has any lasting impacts on the fall. I think people have such short memories now that it's not actually going to matter. People are like, oh, long term, the oil prices are going to be so much higher. No, they're not. They might go but they might go a bit higher. China's a loser in this, because we basically have our hands on their pipeline of oil. That's going to make Taiwan situation a lot more difficult if it ever happens. Um, a lot of it is going to depend on the terms of this peace, whether it actually lasts or not. If it ends up being what it looks like it's going to be, where America and Iran get basically control over the Hormuz Strait and basically stop people from exporting oil. America has the ability to stop people from exporting oil. I think actually it helps America against China, weirdly. But I don't think this all matters all that much. Um, it was a bombing. It was a bombing campaign, bombing and missile campaign. I don't think it actually changed that much, which is weird to say, but probably true. Next topic, AI. AI is getting scary. Basically, I think office jobs, white collar jobs, are quickly becoming obsolete unless you're in the very top echelon. Like, is it going to affect the finance bros in New York? No, it's not. They're like, oh, it can be automated now. Yeah, but it won't be. The people with money are still going to have money, and they're still going to have their own flat system going on. Um, Engineering is going to be weird because basically we are interviewing people with skills that are no longer required or needed. Programming. Oh, you still do lead code questions. Do you do that in your actual job? Sounds like for most people the answer is no. I don't know what the long term answer is. I don't know how much of the work is actually being done by AI and how much of it is just cutting staff. I don't know. I do know I've seen interviews for not interviews, postings for jobs at 2026 grads. So I think that's going to kind of tell you what's going to happen. People are still going to start hiring new people again, but they're going to hire the new grads. If you graduated from 2004, 3 to 2005, you were screwed. I would join the military if I was you and the guy. So yeah, it's a bit scary. Like, it doesn't affect me at all. For whatever reason, my investments were in AI, and I am set. So like whatever. Um, Going to see how things work out. So I do still see a discrepancy between what engineers say and what the influencers say. But I think it's going in the direction of what the money people say, which is that it's going to have a really, really big impact. So I go back and forth about it. That's my opinion. I'm very agnostic towards it though. Final topic. So I mostly moved to New York. Um, Basically, I still work down here. I still work in Maryland. I've got a hybrid schedule, you see, so I can spend a good amount of time in basically remote, as long as it's a safe environment that's in the United States. Yada yada yada. There are a lot of rules, but I follow all of them. But it turns out you can just do things. You can just change where you can change things about what you're doing, and it's fine. And I still have to come down here from time to time for different reasons. But for the most part, I think this is going to work. It's not that expensive to take trains back and forth. The American transportation system is a lot better than it's given credit for. Like, is it pricey? Yeah, but it's doable. You can take the train most places on the East Coast. You can take buses for the remainder of it, and Uber is an option for getting a bit further away from train stations. It's possible. Um, I am not going to bash the American transportation system anymore. Amtrak is damn good. It's pretty damn good. Now it's expensive to live in two places at a time. I've got a particular situation here where I can afford it, but it's a special situation. Um, so you can just do things, and it turns out that culture is different in different places. Um, Now I'm not dating anybody right now, but I feel like it's just way better in New York City for somebody like me than Maryland. And I've come to the conclusion that the different regions have different cultures, and you're judged based on how you fit into a particular culture's mindset. Like in Maryland, you can be a pretty ugly, fat, overweight guy, but if you have the correct political persuasion and opinions and attitudes, you can still do well, always well enough. New York City is much more about like Nietzschean power almost, where you know a lot of people, be outgoing, have a network. Um, Economic things, economic power. Maryland is if you're not going to be doing the whole conformity thing, you got to be military. You just have to be. That's the other option. And there's a third option I'm not going to mention, but yeah, I think you know what it is. So I think that a lot of people should just move. All this stuff about like you can become more of who you are, I think, through self improvement by working out, making more money, meditating, doing whatever else. But you can't become a different person than who you are. So you can become more of who you are. You can't become different than who you are. And if who you are is not appealing to the people, both romantic and otherwise, friendships, just social vibes in your area, you might be better off moving than trying to change everything. That's my current take. And we'll see how it works out. I might not. I mean, honestly, I'm too old. Um, I'm making this change at a particular age where I'm not a young man anymore. I'm just not. My hairline's going back a bit. Um, I'm too old to make this change. But if you're a younger man, like in your 20s, I'd move. Do it before it's too late, man. Anyway, I'm still gonna have a ton of fun up there. Like, there's more to life than dating, and there's so more social scenes and people you can meet, and so much fun. But you do have a time limit to make these type of changes if you want the type of life that you're being called to do. Anyway, that's all for now. Cheers.